Weird point of the night, basically, was Big Show coming out during this edition of Monday Night Raw, and as Big Show came down to the ring, it looked like he was going to be having his own little match. Maybe they were bringing out I don't know, Rusev, or maybe even Mark Henry. Either one of the guys that he both has feuds with going into Survivor Series. Big Show is probably one of the most utilized member of Team Cena, seeing how he has heat with two guys on the other team, and it's not sort of seemed like, 10 guys just thrown together with a little bit of heat mixed up in there to make some sort of a main event. Big Show, if he had a match at the pay-per-view against Rusev or against Mark Henry, it would make sense to fill up the mid-card. But basically, as he was waiting for his opponent to be named, Stephanie McMahon came down to the ring. She basically was trying to bribe Big Show into basically leaving Team Cena and leaving Cena without another member of the team. Big Show isn't really looked at as a real main eventer of the WWE, even though he did main event Survivor Series last year against Randy Orton, and he has, main evented against Cena in the past, and I'm sure you can dig up another main event somewhere along the way. Basically, Big Show probably is one of the biggest members, and when they want to, one of the guys that can hurt and take out just about anybody in the WWE when it's needed. But basically, Stephanie was propositioning Big Show with the fact that, hey, if you leave Team Cena, we'll put you in the WrestleMania Hall of Fame. This year at WrestleMania, you can go in as an inductee of the 2015 class, and basically that would sort of put that, the big placard on the end of your career. You're a former WCW champion, you're a former WWF champion, you're a former ECW champion, you won the Intercontinental Championship, you won the United States Championship, you've been a tag team champion, you've been a hardcore champion. I'm sure if they go back in time, they'd give him that European belt if they could, just to put that big, huge exclamation point on his career. It's too big. He got into some trouble. I remember at one point, I can't remember what year it was, he was supposed to win the King of the Ring one year, and somehow, I can't remember what it was, something got him some heat, and basically that was taken away from him. I think that was the year that Badass Billy Gunn ended up winning it. It was supposed to be Big Show, but something came up. I don't know, if you go back into the Observers, I'm sure you can find something like that basically showed that it was supposed to go down. Maybe Big Show could be the Edge, the won it all, done it all champion, I guess you can say. But as this was going down, Big Show started, negotiating with Stephanie McMahon with the microphone away from his mouth, sort of leaving it at a very awkward proposition of basically Big Show was actually thinking about Stephanie McMahon's offer about going into the Hall of Fame. Sheamus came down to try and talk some sense into Big Show, and basically, Sheamus being there sort of snapped Big Show out of it, and he sort of was coming to it, and Stephanie noticed this, so Stephanie basically said, you need to get out of this situation, or we're going to deport you back to Ireland. And he would not be a part of the WWE anymore. Basically, Stephanie came to an idea of basically, instead of this, let's see if both guys will take each other out. So she named a match of Sheamus versus the Big Show, and to add a little bit more of a stipulation to it, she said, you know what? Whoever wins this match is going to get a chance at a WWE title shot in the future, basically saying that, go out there and beat the hell out of each other, because there is something at the end of this rainbow. We're not just trying to take you guys out. We're trying to give you guys an opportunity to get to that big main event spot that you guys both want to be at. So these guys went into the match. They were, giving it their all, and then out of the middle of nowhere, to end it all, Rusev and Mark Henry come out to interfere in this match. So it's sort of like, oh, there was no WWE Championship shot on the line. She was just trying to find any way she could to weaken them up. And basically they fell hook, line, and sinker for it. It almost made me start thinking that when this was going down was, what does Cena's WWE Champion shot really mean from beating Randy Orton at Hell in the Cell if, Stephanie's just handing him out? Who's going to be the first one to get the WWE Championship shot? Of course, you've always got Seth Rollins running around with his Money in the Bank briefcase. I don't know what Cena has, if he's got some contract folded up in the back of his jean shorts that he can pull out and say that he wants to face Brock Lesnar whenever he shows his face around the WWE again. But basically, Rusev and Mark Henry went to task on these guys. Mark Henry grabbing Sheamus, hitting him with the World's Strongest Slam through the announce table. that made him look, like he was pretty much down for the count. And who is Cena going to have on his team now from here? Of course, Rusev would beat down on Big Show inside of the ring, hitting him with the Aqualade and not letting go until Big Show passed out from the pressure of the submission hold. So now we have two guys laying in the ring. Basically, Cena didn't even try to run down and try and help his team out. So I don't even know at this point who the hell Cena has on his team. He came into the night with four guys, or I apologize, with three guys and himself. Four-man team trying to get Ryback to join up. Basically, him calling Ryback out, saying that he was being shellfish for not being there. And, he's a guy who's always yelling, "Feed me more." And now here he is with a chance to sit at the big boy table. And he's not even, willing to fill up his plate and try and get full. So I don't know what's going down. We're going into the main event, and it's only John Cena. And maybe he's going to be going up against the Authority 5-on-1 at Survivor Series, trying to see who he can take out. So it's looking pretty weird out there. Big Show versus Sheamus, no contest. Basically, they fell for the trap of the Authority, and that's what happens when you mess with Stephanie McMahon.